wait late in that first qualifying session for race 1.
Yeah.
It was just a very weird session, right?
And listen, this is a racetrack with 14 corners. You make a mistake in one corner, one major corner, and you're just not going to be up top. That's how close this series is. It's just unbelievably tight. You look at in that last session, top four separated by just over a tenth of a second. So again, you make a minor mistake, you're going to find yourself back in fourth, fifth, and sixth. I think you're going to see Christian Rasmussen and Braden Eves further to the front on this one, ideally if the teams have made changes. But there's your point standings right there. Christian Rasmussen, as I said, up by 13 points over Braden Eves. Christian coming off a very big win, 45 points for the victory at Lucas Oil Raceway on the Oval in the Freedom 90. They'll be back on the Oval later this year at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Braden Eves struggled a bit there and ends up 13 points back coming into Road America. Reese Gold, just 16 years of age, the number 55 for Juncos Racing. Qualified on pole for the Freedom 90, and he's third in points. Artem Petrov fourth, and Hunter McElray in fifth.
Green flag comes out. We are green for qualifying. And the thing about that race at Lucas Oil Raceway that really impressed me about Rasmussen, car control.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I was fascinated how he was just dancing on the edge when he was working that, and his car control is mega. And how impressive, once again, when you're talking about that young man, Reese Gold with that pole, led a lot of that race, fended off a lot of pressure, but in the end, Rasmussen just outplayed him a little bit. But I'll tell you, Christian Rasmussen, we were talking earlier about the it factor. I think he's got it.
I agree with you. So many times I'm calling the action. Coming through turn one, he had a big wiggle. Yeah. And that he was just dancing on the edge. Exactly. Little counter steer and really hardcore defense on Reese Gold. And that's where you go back to Reese and give him a check mark. He threw everything he could trying to get by Rasmussen. Christian was being super defensive. On a road course, there might have been some contact. He might have got a little bump from behind. But yeah, Reese showed his maturity, I think, there. Not overcommitting, not trying a move that was maybe a low percentage. He did everything he could to try to force a mistake. Didn't get that mistake. Ends up with a second-place finish.
And for Reese, it's a huge learning curve. But I'll tell you what, the guy's a sponge, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
You see him, if he makes a mistake, it's once. That's now in the book. I got it figured out.
Yeah, he's going to be a star
impressive.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, patience, obviously, in this situation, you've got to be able to take what you can get. Reckon yourself and the leader worth it, or is that second place in points more valuable to you? And that second place in points is more valuable in that situation. You've got to pick and choose your spots, and I think Reese showed an enormous amount of patience and just trying to throw everything at Christian. But
isn't that a Scott Dixon kind of thing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Very much.
You take
very
the
much
car
so.
you have, do the best you can with the car you have, the car you're given, and don't throw it away. And that's how you win championships, for sure. We'll say hello to those of you tuning into the Road to Indy TV app or on the Road to Indy YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us here at Road America. My name is Rob Howden, joined by Eric Mueller and Greg Creamer today in the booth. And qualifying has got rolling. As you can see, drivers working their way throughout the racetrack here, coming up into Canada Corner through Billy Mitchell Bend. Just getting things rolling, as I said, with Indy Pro 2000 qualifying, a 20-minute session. We'll give them time to change tires if they want. But again, as I said yesterday, we'll kind of reiterate here, 5 sessions, official sessions during the weekend. They had 2 one-hour open test sessions on Thursday, separate tires for those. This particular race weekend, though, 3 sets of tires, a carryover set from the test that they used on Friday in the open practice session, that practice, single practice. 3 sets of fresh Cooper tires, though, for 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races. So you got to be smart. I'm not sure that anybody in Indy Pro are saving tires for the race. We know a couple guys are doing that for Indy Lights, but tire strategy definitely will play a factor here in Indy Pro.
And, I can imagine some people going, well, why aren't you giving them enough tires to just be able to go out and do it? And it's like, remember, this is a training series to get you into IndyCar. And once you get in the NTT IndyCar series, you better know how to manage tires if you're going to have any success. This is all part of the program that is incredibly well thought through.
And it's the budget too, right? We don't want to be blowing through tires. Tires cost a lot of money, so try to keep the budget down a little bit by not going through tires. But like you said, tire management all weekend long.
Well, one of the things with the cooler temperatures this morning, we're about 20 degrees cooler ambient as well. Track temperature is going to be much cooler with the cloud cover as well. Some of those tires that you used in that qualifying session yesterday, you may be able to reuse those today if you didn't go to the 2 sets in Q1.
Exactly that. Again, we'll see some drivers on fresh tires later in the run. Some may try to hold on to those tires for the races. Again, 1 race today and then 1 race tomorrow morning as well. We'll see which drivers kind of drop things in here quickly. Artem Petrov has been very good throughout this weekend. Capped the open test on Thursday as the fastest driver. P2 in qualifying for race number 1. We'll see if Artem can find that little bit more to go back to P1. Same with his teammate Braden Eves. He needs some more speed, but again, able to sit down with Artem, look over the data, and I expect to see Braden Eves back up top. Just didn't have a good qualifying session for race 1. I think he'll bounce back today.
And I think these are prime conditions for some really fast laps. Cool air. Might take a lap or two longer to get those tires right into the sweet spot in terms of pressures and heat. But when it hits, cool air, engines love it, aero loves it.
Yeah.
I think these guys are going to be flying.
Not only that, but we talk about this race course being 4 miles in length. It's 640-acre facility. Some of the shots that you're seeing right now kind of tell the story a little bit. They just showed the cars coming through Billy Mitchell Bend, through the S's, if you will, coming up the hill, and there's sunshine.
Yeah.
You get to the front straightaway, and it's complete cloud cover in turn 1. I mean, we have different weather systems on all 4 corners of the property, so it's a much different lap today, and much different conditions on the north end versus the south end.
Yeah.
In that case, it's very reminiscent of what kind of things you can have at the Oval in Indianapolis. You can have different weather systems on each end of that racetrack as well.
And if you're watching on the app right now, look at that sky. That was just an incredibly beautiful sky here, wasn't it?
Pretty amazing coming in from Manitowoc today as well. Some of the cloud formations were just stunning. Got hit by some rain coming over here. Really happy to get to the racetrack and see the vintage Indy registry drivers on track at track drive. We are set to go here now. We are about 5.5 minutes into this qualifying session. Christian Rasmussen, the fastest outlap, a 207.600 for the 2020 USF 2000 champion, the current point leader here in the Indy Pro 2000 category, 13 points rather ahead of Braden Eves, who now sits in 4th. Opening lap, Christian Rasmussen, Reese Gold, Jacob Abel, Braden Eves, and pole sitter for race 1, Manuel Suleiman. So that's just the opening lap. Long way to go, as we know. We'll see whether or not any drivers come in to put rubber on, to put fresh Coopers on. Otherwise, a 20-minute session to try to find the best you can here. And track position so crucial, Eric, here at Road America. I talked to a number of drivers who got good laps, and they say the car feels really good by itself, but you just got that perfect toe where you're not getting held up, but just enough that it's going to pull you down through the Kettle Bottoms to Canada Corner, just enough to get a little pull up the hill as well to potentially pop out there coming to start finish. The draft can play a role here in qualifying.
Well, absolutely, but the flip side of that is you don't want to get too good of a toe or be too close in that situation, because then you have to be able to maneuver around in some cases cleanly without losing time or scrubbing time. And sometimes that's a very delicate dance between two drivers in that situation, especially when you get a good run in a qualifying session and you don't want to give up the lap, especially if you can't get around somebody that is a little bit slower. So you've got to be very careful of your distance and timing so that way you get the run, but it doesn't slow you down on the backside of that for the next lap, especially if you're working 2 flyers back to back.
Well, and if you've got a couple of teammates that have set this up and say, okay, we're going to play this game, I'll tow you, you tow me, they work it. But if you're coming up and you got a nice tow on a guy from a different team or that you're battling in the points, you think he's going to be really, really smooth and let you just glide on through?
And not happen.
I don't think so. So there's a lot going on in those helmets when it comes to drafting.
4 drivers already in the pit lane. Jack William Miller, Braden Eves, Christian Rasmussen, and Jacob Abel have all come into pit lane. So getting a couple of banker laps in there early, get a feel for what the car's going to do. We'll put fresh Cooper tires on, make a little adjustment to the race car if needed. Lots of time still, 12 minutes to go. Reese Gold now up top at 206.038, about a second and a half off qualifying time for race 1. Manuel Suleiman turned at 204.523. So it's Gold and Miller. Jack William Miller, 16 years of age up top. Both Reese and Jack just 16. Braden Eves now in the 3rd spot. Christian Rasmussen 4th. And Kiffin Simpson, 17-year-old driver out of the Cayman Islands, first year on the road to Indy, right into the Indy Pro 2000 category in the number 21. He's been very impressive this year in his rookie campaign. Jacob Abel now 6th. Hunter McElroy 7th. James Rowe Jr. in 8th. Artem Petrov 9th. Wyatt Prokopchik in 10th. Manuel Suleiman 11th. And Hunter Yaney in 12th. Suleiman, pole sitter for race number 1, down in 11th position right now on the racetrack still. Artem Petrov jumping up to 2nd, 205.772. 2 for Artem Petrov. Gold quicker on lap 3, 2:05.336. So it's Gold and Petrov now P1 and P2.
And they just crossed the alternate timeline over in 14. So those of you that may not have been with us for any of the practice or qualifying sessions the last 2 days and are just here for the first time this weekend, for both the Road to Indy as well as the NTT IndyCar Series and Radical Cup for their qualifying sessions earlier this weekend. Timing line is in 14 just before making the turn in at Apex. So it's right as the concrete ends at the cutoff in 13.
Oh, somebody down into turn 3 there, Rob.
That was James Rowe.
Setting up to turn in, dropped that left tire right at turn in. Big wiggle, was lucky to hang on to that.
Number of drivers in the pit lane as well. More Reese Gold, Kiffin Simpson, Artem Petrov went to P2, immediately peeled off into pit lane, so he'll do his change as well. Braden Eves still in the pit, waiting for him to get those fresh tires on, get him back out on the racetrack. Hunter Yaney coming in as well in the Velocity Racing Development Machine. So a couple drivers in the pit lane. Still 10 minutes to go, just halfway through. Reese Gold still on top at 2:05.337. Best lap so far. Kiffin Simpson up into second. And Artem Petrov in third. So Juncos Racing first and second with Gold and Simpson. They were P1 yesterday with Manuel Suleiman. So Juncos Racing, a really good feel for the track here at Road America. Artem Petrov actually won here last year with Juncos Racing, so not surprising he's been fast. But I missed that. Do we have another tank slapper coming out of 8 or what?
Big one, and it lasted till almost under the bridge, turning into the carousel. It was a huge save. There he is, that lead car right there. I think
that might be Wyatt Prokachik.
Yeah. I didn't pick up the number.
Using a lot of the runoff in turn 8, I've noticed with this Pro 2000 group. They're using quite a bit more runoff in the turn 8 area where USF 2000 kind of stay in between the white lines. The evolution of the motor for this year, right? We did quite an evolution on the motor we use here in Indy Pro 2000, dropping the RPM range down a bit, giving it some more torque on the bottom, a little more reliability, but still great speed and great performance. And so I'm not surprised the driver's kind of hustling through the corner, getting to take advantage of that lower end, that torque coming out of the corners as opposed to the top speed.
And we've talked already this weekend about the need to flow speed through those corners here. And it's a very tricky braking zone like turn 5, not quite as downhill as 5, but it's still very tricky. And then you got to immediately transition over to get set up for the run to the carousel. And when you use a lot of that exit curb, it does upset the car just a little bit. You've got to have that set. And I just want to say, Reese Gold, if he hangs on to this pole, is a 5th of the year. From what I think.
Again,
the next closest guy is Eves with 2.
Super impressive. Was on the pole for both races at Indianapolis. So again, that pole run at the Oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. I think he was like a mile and a half faster than anybody else. Like he went 119 something, whatever it was. It blew us all away because that second nobody else went that much quicker on the second lap. He trusted the car and kept his foot in it and was impressive. For 16 years of age, first year in the series. Yeah, he's got 2 years of USF 2000. Was with Cape Motorsports, which is a fantastic team to learn from. But to see what he's done here, outright pace-wise, is so impressive.
As you said, trusting the car, just going after it. One of my analysts for how many years would say, at 16, he doesn't know better.
That's exactly right. Hasn't had that big wreck yet, right? It kind of makes you think about it. No, yeah. I agreed.
Yeah, he always told me, he said, I'd say, oh, this young guy's fast. He goes, wait till the first time he's on his roof. If he's fast after that, then we'll talk.
I like that. That's true.
But Reese has just been mega impressive. Now, on the flip side, you look at fast laps in the race, which is a stat that I love because it tells me who really gets after it. Rasmussen.
Yeah.
And
he was good. He was really, really good in Indianapolis. There's Hunter McElroy in the Pabst Racing Machine coming down to turn number 8 as well.
Struggling a bit this weekend.
Again, we look at the results from last year, and I think he was 14th both days, got contact in one of the races, and just had struggled in the other race. So I'm not really sure what it is. Pabst Racing is normally very, very good here. Of course, Therese Casamet's one of the engineers over there, along with Augie Pabst, who owns and runs the team. This is their racetrack.
Yeah.
This is their home. This is the spiritual home of Pabst Racing, no doubt about that. The family's been here for decades, and they do not like to struggle at Road America, right?
Seriously.
They will not be happy. They want to be good. And
Eves to P1.
They're pretty strong in the USF 2000. We'll see what McElroy can do here. But as Eric just said, indeed, Braden Eves, after the adjustment and new tires, has gotten to P1 at 2:05.237. Reese Gold second. Kiffin Simpson third. Artem Petrov fourth. James Rowe Jr. has been pretty good here for turn 3 Motorsport, Peter Dempsey's team. Just following Hunter McElroy. We always kind of laugh at the confusion. Born in Los Angeles, lives in Australia, but has the Kiwi flag on the suit. Yeah. Greg's facial expression was perfect. We all did the same thing. What? Yeah.
A true gentleman of the globe. Apparently.
I like that. International man of mystery.
Exactly.
Hunter McElroy.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Fresh tires there for, I believe that was James Rowe, and he and Wyatt Prokachik getting fresh tires and getting back out here. Here's one of the exclusive cars. I believe that's Eves. There's James Rowe for the Turn 3 Motorsport. TopCon and Trintec sponsored machine.
Currently fast time at 2:05.23. Polled yesterday at 2:04.52. So I think on these stickers we're going to see something here.
Yeah, again, like you guys said, Eric, you mentioned it, drastically different conditions in terms of temperature for qualifying. It's always that balance back and forth, right? When it's warmer, you get lots of grip. When it's cooler, the engines absolutely love it. They sing. So we'll see what happens here with the sticker tires on. Guys getting back at it.
And the arrow's better. So that can actually hurt you speed-wise a little bit here.
Agreed.
At times, too. So that might be the balancing.
204.87.
Yeah.
There it is.
204.87,
Yeah, Jacob just dropped it down significantly. Went about 0.6 or 0.7 quicker than Eves. A 204.878 for Jacob Abel out of Kentucky in the Abel Motorsports number 51. Got a new shop going in Brownsburg. We'll see what he's able to do. I know that Jacob has been looking really good here this weekend. P3 for race number 1. His best career qualifying effort here at Indy Pro 2000, part of the Road to Indy. Parker Thompson, one of the veteran drivers of the Road to Indy, who's also the host of the Road to Indy TV program this year, doing some coaching with him. Parker running in the Porsche Challenge this year. Eves, now what happened there? Jacob Abel, they got him back to P3. Indeed, yeah, Eves goes quicker again. Eves gets down to a 5, so he's almost as quick as Suleiman was. 204.561. Eves, McElroy to second.
I was just going to say, notice who's up to second spot. We saw him scrubbing tires. Now, obviously, with the warmer track temperatures the last couple of days, you get 1 or 2 laps and the tires are already at their peak temperature after you get them warmed up. This morning, cooler track temperatures, McElroy was scrubbing tires, just trying to get some heat in them. And obviously, it's going to be a couple of laps in now, 3 or 4 laps it's going to take to build up some speed.
Yeah.
So we may not see the come in quick, change tires, and go out with the last 3 minutes and get 2 bankers. This may be the banking lap. This may be the session that you see guys stay out 2, 3, 4 laps just because they need to build up some temperature.
It's 20 degrees cooler right now than it was during yesterday's session. Only 64 degrees here, ambient temperature trackside. So obviously the track temperature itself significantly lower. That is Braden Eves rolling into the carousel right now. Following him, James Rowe Jr. James Rowe currently in the 8th spot. Abel goes quicker again. Jacob Abel having a career day here. 204.406 for Abel in the 51.
Quicker than Suleiman.
Yeah, indeed, by over a 10th. So Abel, Petrov, Eves, McElroy, and Gold. We're shaking things up here. Christian Rasmussen down in 9th position, 6th in race 1, currently P9. Let's see if there's some magic from the Dane to try to get himself closer to the front. But the J. Howard driver development car is currently in 9th and 11th for Rasmussen and Prokachik.
Well, that's where we said this is one of those sessions that, yesterday we kind of saw a little bit of a strategy where you'd come in, put one out, come back in, go back out. This one, we're seeing guys run a little bit more consistent laps.
And Eves has just gone to the top at a 204.26.
He does. Jeez. Braden Eves getting at it here. I like it. 204.268 for Braden Eves. 204.406 for Abel. Just over a 10th of a second. 10th and a half separating the top 4 drivers. Eves, Abel, Gold, and Petrov.
Yeah, Gold had dropped back to 6, and he's popped right back up into the top 3.
Two thousandths of a second faster than Petrov.
Yeah, everybody on track right now. So in that situation, no one on pit lane, everybody trying to go out there.
Rasmussen to P6, recovering a little bit there, right where he was in race number 1. But I think you're right, Eric, the cooler temperatures here. And remember, as well, first time that they've run with the IndyCar rubber down from yesterday. Now, we did have a lot of rain, so obviously washed a bit of that off, but there is a bit of rubber down, a little more grip potentially for these guys. We'll see what happens here late in the session. Still a minute and a bit to go. You're going to see everybody out here all the way to the checkered flag. 2:04.268. Braden Eves out of New Albany, Ohio. It's been a great season for Braden Eves. You think
Yes,
about what
it
happened
has.
last year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on his head. The neck injury, the head injury, had to retire for the season. When he could, got back behind the wheel of a cart, did some karting, then got into the car. And to be able to do what he's done, come back and win races coming out of the gate at Barber
I was
Motorsports
going to
Park.
say, that was impressive. Talk about a guy who was hungry and ready for it.
Yeah. His teammate, Artem Petrov, goes P1, winner here last year. Artem Petrov's already been victorious this year as well at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Petrov now to P1 with a 2:04.095. 600th of a second faster than Artem, rather than Jacob Abel. But now it's Braden Eves back. Again, you just literally can't talk about it quick enough as we're changing up top. Braden Eves quicker by 3/300ths of a second. He's 300th. Then 900th back is Jacob Abel.
Gold.
Reese Gold,
Look at these margins, too.
2:04.03.
Wow.
Yeah, 27 1,000s gold.
Rasmussen, P1. What?
2:03.7.
2:03.7, almost 3/10 quicker. Rasmussen goes P1.
Checkered flag.
But here we go. Final lap on the racetrack. Checker flag has flown. Here comes Rasmussen. By us here at start finish in the Road to Indy scholarship colors, that white, red, and blue. Rasmussen. There's Hunter Yeaney coming in to get his final lap in the books. A 2:05.7, his best thus far. And here we go. Everybody but one driver going green last time by with their best lap. So wait to this final circuit. Who's going to come away with it? Rasmussen will be the last driver on the racetrack, I believe, to come across. Start finish. So again, final lap in qualifying for Indy Pro 2000. Christian Rasmussen has gone P1 by over 2/10 on Reese Gold. So it's Rasmussen, Gold, Eves, Petrov, and Abel.
And aside from starting up front where you always want to be, there's points on the line here,
That's
too,
it.
isn't there? So
one bonus point, very crucial. And we're waiting to see these drivers in this final circuit roll their way in here. Abel goes to P2. Jacob Abel back up to second in the 51. A 2:04.028. Only one driver, though, below the 2:04s. Who else is coming by here? Artem Petrov does not go any quicker. He's P5. Rasmussen still holding on provisional
Suleiman.
pole. Manuel Suleiman has gone up, I believe, to P1. Waiting for live timing to update for us. We'll give you the exact lap time. More drivers still on the racetrack, hustling things around. Number of them down, just coming out of the carousel right now.
2:03.45 for Suleiman.
Wow.
P1. Both
Where-
poles this weekend.
Where did that come from?
No idea, but what a great lap.
It wasn't great. These obviously cars are light right now. The tire pressure's coming in. Everything perfect. Hitting that magic sweet spot. Manuel Suleiman at 2:03.454. Braden Eves does not go any quicker either. He's P1 for a time, 5th and 6th. The exclusive
Gold to
Autosport
P2.
drivers looking like they're going to be row number 3, and indeed Gold has gone to P2. Rasmussen, does he go any quicker? He does not. Rasmussen not quicker. And out of absolutely nowhere, Manuel Suleiman has put himself back to the top of the charts, back-to-back poles.
What a lap.
And there's the team right there, Ricardo Juncos and the squad. Very, very happy. Man, that is impressive. A 2:04.454. And you're looking right now at Manuel Suleiman, who comes in 6th place in points. He's 90 points out of the lead, and the guy's got 2 pole positions at Road America. Talk about giving yourself an opportunity to potentially jump back into the championship discussion.
And I'll tell you what, to me, that was the perfect storm, right? Fresh tires late in the session. It's cool. The aero's great. The engines are loving the power. And as you said, Rob, car's light, much more responsive. And he found everything. He extracted every bit of potential out of that car.
So here you go. Here's your qualifying run here. Manuel Suleiman, a magic lap at the end. Well done for Manuel. Back-to-back pole positions in the number 22 for Juncos Racing. It's a Juncos 1-2. Reese Gold in the 55 ends up second. Point leader Christian Rasmussen improved on his 6th position yesterday to start on the inside of row number 2. P3 in qualifying. Jacob Abel, another top 5 qualifying run. 3rd yesterday, 4th today. Been a great weekend so far for Abel. Braden Eves and Artem Petrov will be on row 3, all exclusive Autosport. Wyatt Prokopchik in 7th, Kiffin Simpson 8th, Hunter McElray 9th, Hunter Yeaney in 10th, Jack William Miller 11th, and James Rowe, who qualified, I believe, 7th yesterday, had himself in the top 5, ends up being 12th, 1.3 back. Again, lots of racing still to do for these drivers. They'll make adjustments. But Manuel Suleiman, man, Juncos Racing, 1st and 2nd with Suleiman and Gold. Very impressive.
tale of two cities, so to speak, with
Yeah.
qualifying here.
So there you go, folks. Wrapping things up here with Indy Pro 2000. We're going to roll out our drivers in Indy Lights. They're heading out here as well. Time to go qualifying with the top level of the Road to Indy.
At TopCon, we know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways, piece of cake. Airports, let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast? No, faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon, always one step ahead.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts. Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
For official Road America apparel and souvenirs, some absolutely incredible stuff inside, fashionable to the absolute best, just beautiful. It's located across from Victory Lane. The store features an amazing selection of hats, shirts, toys, plus unique artwork, furniture, gift items, and more. It's either a great memento for you or just a great present if you have somebody who's, Father's Day seems to be a good opportunity to pick something up. And are you looking for an affordable place to stay for the races? Well, why not stay right here at the track? Now, whether you need lodging for one person or a group, we have the best options for race fans that will save you time and money when visiting Road America. So check out roadamerica.com/lodging for availability and pricing. When you know what hard work looks like, you can't settle for less. For well over 150 years, Gale has been designing and building equipment for the hardest working men and women in America. From the roots of the farm to weekend warriors and construction professionals, Gale has the skid or track loader, telescopic handler, or articulated wheel loader for your project. Visit your local Gale dealer to test drive a Gale machine today. Ask for it by name, Gale Machines. They will exceed your expectations. Gale works like you do. Anyone looking to become a better, safer, and more confident driver should check out one of the Road America driving schools, or RADs. The program, features 3 courses: teen, high performance, and winter driving. Visit roadamerica.com to sign up today. And that high performance program teaches the physics and dynamics of precision driving. Participants learn advanced car control techniques through intense drills involving braking, cornering, and acceleration. The program includes a variety of autocross courses and a tour of the 4-mile road course. A valid driver's license is required. Visit roadamerica.com to learn more and sign up. And parents, I would encourage you to do it, but I would also strongly urge you to get any of your kids through that school. Learn what handling a heavy vehicle that's moving at 70 miles an hour on a freeway. Learn the dynamics. It's amazing what you learn, how you can avoid incidents that others get into. It's very crucial, I think. And Road America also has a motorcycle school, or RAMS, and has become one of Wisconsin's premier cycle training facilities, educating two-wheel enthusiasts in a variety of courses. Road America's basic and experienced rider courses and dirt bike school are taught by award-winning rider coaches who have completed extensive training. Students who complete the basic rider course fulfill part of the requirements needed to obtain a motorcycle license from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. So visit roadamerica.com to sign up today. And of course, Road America also has an amazing karting club, and you can get on track with it. The karting club is a perfect way to take your passion for motorsports to the next level. Kids as young as 5 years old can participate, and adults, they are welcome too, of course. For more information, visit the club's website at rakartclub.com or call Road America at 800-365-7223. That's 800-365-7223. There's some wonderful on-track opportunities here for you to get out on track yourself. You can experience Road America in your own vehicle as you drive around the legendary 4-mile circuit and see the track from a racer's perspective. This opportunity showcases the track with 3 guided slow-speed laps of the entire race course. The evening kicks off with a driver's meeting and an opportunity to visit the paddock shop for great Road America souvenirs. Limited space is available, so please do register in advance. Driver must possess a valid driver's license. Price is only $20 per car. That's insanely reasonable. Visit roadamerica.com to sign up today. And if you're looking for a perfect gift for that upcoming special occasion or person, how about a Road America gift card? Available in any denomination you choose. Road America gift cards may be redeemed for race tickets, driving courses, motorcycle schools, on-track touring, or Road America merchandise. Road America gift cards are always a perfect choice. Stop by the track office or visit roadamerica.com today. Remember, if you do need a little cash, you can grab it at the ATM that is located in the paddock area. There's also one in the gearbox and at Road America's paddock shop. And as always, Road America encourages all event participants to help keep America's National Park of Speed clean by utilizing Safety Clean recycling stations for your vehicle fluids. Safety Clean recycling stations are conveniently located on the south end of the Haggerty Tech Center, next to St. John's concession stand, and on the east side of the gas station near the Sunoco sign. Attention race fans, when you see a Chevy accessory you want, you can order it online, even right from your phone, and have it delivered to your local Chevy dealer or straight to your house. It's that easy. Just visit Chevrolet.com/accessories to learn a bit more. Brought to you by Yamaha, the industry-leading power sports company. From motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-side vehicles to power products and more, Yamaha revs your heart. For more information, visit YamahaMotorsports.com. WeatherTech is proud to welcome you back to the track. Give your vehicle the ultimate protection with their laser-measured, custom-fit floor liners. Find yours today at WeatherTech.com. Remember, if it's not WeatherTech, it's just not worth it. Catalyst Exhibits is the official exhibit and design service of Road America. If trade shows and events are part of your business, Catalyst can take you to the winner's circle. Follow the link on Road America's website to get started. Henry Repeating Arms offers a huge selection of rifles and shotguns that any outdoorsman or hunter will be proud to own. With a factory right here in the great state of Wisconsin, all Henry firearms are proudly made in America, or not made at all. Visit them online at henryusa.com to order a free catalog and 2 free decals. That's henryusa.com for your free catalog and decals. Trip is a proud partner of Road America and your official convenience store of summer racing in Wisconsin. They carry all of your favorite cookout and tailgating grocery items like brats, burgers, steaks, chops, salads, pop beer, wine, and more. Yep, Quick Trip has you covered when it's time to go and you're on the go. Plus, find no-fee ATMs, free air for your tires, and top-tier fuel for your vehicles. Quick Trip. See you next time. You know, the word fast isn't reserved just for race cars. When your car gets wet, you want it dried fast. And here's a winning tip. Nothing dries faster than the Absorber. It's available wherever better car care products are sold, including the Paddock Gift Shop right here at Road America. And we are green. It is time for qualifying number 2 as we take to the track for the Indy Light Series. Cars are making their way out. Looking forward to this one big time. Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires. You take a look at qualifying from yesterday. Daniel Frost put it on pole, and is obviously would be delighted to go out and duplicate that. And back it up again. Poles offer up points in this championship, and when you've got you look at the end of season championship battles, oftentimes, and you'll see those numbers are separated by very few digits, and sometimes those bonus points are the ones that can really spell a championship. And so it's incredibly important. And plus, of course, and when you qualify, the farther up in the field you qualify, the less you have to take out of your car then to get to the front. You're already starting up there. And as a result, you can find yourself with a much easier race and be up there battling right from the off. You come in there looking at the points. Linus Lindqvist is a rookie leading in the points, but it's by a very scant margin. This is what I was talking about with those pole points, by 1 coming into the weekend. David Malukas second in the points. Kyle Kirkwood only 3 back. So really the top 3 in points covered by 4 points. And then we were talking about it yesterday. Toby Sowery sits 4th in the points, a ways back. You used to have a feeling that Toby is ready to start putting up some wins here. Devlin DeFrancesco rounds out the top 5 in points. 3 rookies in that top 5. Alex Peroni sits 6th, another rookie. Daniel Frost, we talked about, got the pole in yesterday's qualifying run for the first race. Sits 7th in the points. Benjamin Peterson, a rookie, is 8th. Robert McGinnis is 9th. And in a 10th spot, another rookie, Stingray Robb. And right now, with a pretty comfortable margin, HMD Motorsports leads the team championship. And that, too, is very, very prestigious. As the cars go whistling by. Obviously going to take a little bit here in terms of building some heat into the tires, and we'll also see, of course, what that strategy is. In terms of dealing with those tires, these cars, each level of the road to Indy that you move up, you find yourself looking at higher and higher levels, not just of horsepower, but downforce. And again, it's hugely important to always remember that this is all about training drivers, letting them work their way up to the point where they get to the NTT IndyCar Series. And all of that, of course, includes finding your way through not just driving higher horsepower cars, but dealing with aero, building the confidence to understand the aero. I've often referred to it as false grip, and that's a little bit of a misnomer, but it just means you're exceeding the natural mechanical grip of the car. You know, the suspension providing the tires, the amount of push into the pavement, tires and pavement, that's mechanical grip. Everything that is just natural, the grip you have on a street car, that's just from the tires and the suspension and the road. when you start piling on aerodynamic downforce, that's creating additional grip, and there you're using the black art of aerodynamics to increase grip. And the faster these cars go, they start to really compress and push down into the track, so you can carry a lot more speed through the corners. And that's what aerodynamics is all about. And when you're not used to driving a car with a lot of aero, it's intimidating, because you go by you know the data says I can go by this 3 brake marker where I've been braking, and everything else I've driven substantially I can go past that because I've got that grip. And aero downforce does not just give you speed through a corner, it allows you to brake a lot later, so thus you can carry that speed through the corner at a much higher rate. It allows you to flow the speed through the corners and the like. But your first time when you're approaching, say, turn 1 up here, or turn 5, even more importantly, where you're coming from that long run into a slow, tight corner, it takes a little bit to get you comfortable with, well, I can go way past where I've ever been braking before. The car's going to stick. And it's an opportunity with this training program of Road to Indy for drivers that have that ultimate goal of driving Indy cars, and what real driver doesn't, to give them the opportunity to learn all of this. And that's what's keeping things really interesting and exciting here, and giving these drivers an opportunity. And the nice thing is we've got higher entries this year, and I think we were talking earlier, and Eric made the point, with this series sort of being put on hiatus last year due to COVID, the interest in it has just really gone off the charts a little bit. And these are, without a doubt, I think, some of the prettiest formula cars in the world. They're very effective, they're very quick, but they also are just aesthetically gorgeous to look at, and they go. There's no question about that. It's going to take us a few laps to get these tires warmed up, and again, we're always going to be dealing with what is the plan here in terms of managing the tires. It's cool this morning, so that gives them an opportunity to maybe take a little bit more risk. They're not going to hurt the tires quite as bad necessarily, but you need to make sure you've got tires to get you through the entirety of the weekend here, and all of the sessions, all of the races. And that becomes obviously very, very important here. In yesterday's qualifying session for the first of the 2 races, it was Daniel Frost put himself up on the front row for Andretti Autosport in the Denjet Dallara. Then it was David Malukas, and Malukas comes in here very well placed in the points, currently sits in the 2nd spot, as I said, only 1 behind your point leader. And Malukas driving the number 79 HMD Motorsports HMD Trucking entry. He's out of Chicago, Illinois. Devlin DeFrancesco, another rookie, was 3rd, and Devlin out of Miami driving for Andretti Steinbrenner Autosport in the Power Tap Dallara. 4th was the number 28 of Kyle Kirkwood. Kyle right up there in the points, sitting 3rd, only 4 points from the lead. He's out of Jupiter, Florida, driving for Andretti Autosport, and that Road to Indy Cooper Tires and Construction Contractors Club Dallara. Rounding out your top 5 points leader, Linus Lindqvist, number 26 out of Stockholm, Sweden, and driving the Global Racing Group with HMD Motorsports entry, and the FX Air Guns and Patrim machine. Right now, this is somewhat exploratory. The driver's just out and looking to find out what the track has to offer here. We said track different than when they were out yesterday. We've had weather over the evening that can green the track back up a little bit. Conditions are cool. These 400 plus horsepower engines are going to be loving this cool, dense air to really start packing some power down. These aero is going to be really effective in these cool conditions. And Daniel Frost right now, fastest time yesterday was a 1:55.593, a 1 minute 55.593 second lap. And well, Stingray Robb now goes to the top, and he's already at a 1:55.9 9.74. So very early in this session, only 0.4 of a second off of Daniel's fastest lap yesterday. And I think that's going to be down to just how well things are going here. You're going to be able to push these tires a little bit more in this cool air, but more importantly, the aero is going to be effective, which is going to help them hustle through one and the carousel and the kink and all of those long duration, super high speed corners. But you are talking about 400 plus horsepower turbo engines, and in this cool air, the turbos run a little cooler. Everything works more efficiently, a lot more oxygen packed into the air, and these engines are going to be loving it on these long straights here. The more power you have, the faster your laps are going to be around Road America relative to a warmer day.
Absolutely. And Daniel Frost's teammate Kyle Kirkwood just goes to P2 now, a 156.17. Stingray Robb, though, P1 right now currently here in Indy Lights qualifying.
Three have been winning every single race so far this season.
Well, I think what's happened is the top three, the champion I feel is going to be out of that top three, without a doubt. They came out of the box super quick. They're ones that have won all the races. So for somebody to try to overcome and win a lot of races means that all three of those guys really have to have some bad luck, Nick. And I could see one or two guys maybe, but to have all three have some bad luck for one of these other guys to come up the championship, I think it'd be pretty tough.
Stingray Robb, the fastest of the 13 drivers so far in qualifying. Again, 30-minute session, 10 minutes in. Stingray Robb has turned 3 laps so far. He just reset his quick lap at a minute 55.586, and that is already right there. It is, in fact, faster than the pole time yesterday for Daniel Frost. So the speed's already dropping. Devlin DeFrancesco is second. Benjamin Pedersen third. Kyle Kirkwood is fourth. And let's talk a little bit about Kyle Kirkwood, Davey, because what an impressive weekend for that young man, sweeping the weekend at Detroit. And as we mentioned, puts himself right there in the championship hunt. Third in points, just 3 points back. But the way that he commanded those races at Detroit, I think awful impressive, and had to impress a lot of IndyCar owners in that paddock.
Yeah, and how about his own team owner, Andretti Autosport, Michael Andretti, already saying, hey, I know he's ready for IndyCar. The kid's outstanding. And not only did he just dominated that weekend, right? Just completely dominated. Now he needs to continue having performance like that. There's so many great IndyCar drivers and very few seats available, but you just never know. We see a couple of replacements in IndyCars this weekend. It could open opportunity for some of these young guys down the road as well. So great run by him. He's with a team that has IndyCars, so you just never know what could happen.
And the beautiful thing is, Rob Howden, of course, for those that are maybe new to American open wheel racing, is this ladder system is set up so brilliantly so that the champion of this series this year, like they always does, is going to get a nice little scholarship prize to take to the IndyCar series.
Yeah, $1.25 million to be able to go IndyCar racing. It's going to be a 3-race program, which includes the Indianapolis 500. Not just that, top 3 drivers in Indy Lights will all get an IndyCar test at the end of the season. As well, the Indy Pro 2000 champion, he'll get the scholarship to go to Indy Lights, but he'll also get a test as well. Nick, we've got a lot of work down here on pit lane. Number of cars have come in here, both Daniel Frost and Robert McGinnis in here. Current top driver Stingray Robb. Both he and Toby Sowery went out on fresh Cooper tires. Not surprising that Stingray would go P1 on the fresh rubber. They're back in for another set, and that kind of makes things interesting. I talked to Don Lambert, the team manager of Andretti Autosport. There are some fresh tires available for the race. We've had a couple of teams that are saving potentially 1, maybe even 2 sets of tires. They want fresh rubber for these races because it's very interesting how the tire wear here this particular weekend has been pretty aggressive. Guys wanted to hold on to those tires for the races, and I actually talked to one of the Cooper tire reps as well, Gavin Rose, telling me that this tire here is one of the ones we only use here at Road America. We would use it as well at a Watkins Glen. It's designed for a higher temps, high loads, a little bit of a different tire here for Cooper, and obviously we're seeing a lot of wear as we expect the drivers, at least 1 or 2 or 3 more drivers could be on 2 fresh sets of tires for both races this weekend.
Davey, we every weekend we know that managing those tires, those Cooper tires, or in the IndyCar series, the Firestones, that it's important to take care of those things and have some tread left by the end of the race. more important here at a place like Road America with, as Rob talked about, the high loads and the high speeds that those things are put through?
Yeah, definitely. Rob hit nail on the head because this place is so fast and the corner speeds are so high. It punishes these tires just that bit more than some of the slower courses that we go to. So key to have tires at the end of this race. They go their 100 miles, but they need to from 90 to 100 where it really counts. Correct? I mean that's where they want to have all the speed. In this place, you got to manage your tires. Matter of fact, we've seen guys really off the pace early on in the race sometimes, but then they come back for challenge or even win the race, like Rob said, coming from dead last year to the lead, which may have helped him because he was passing guys, but he didn't have the speed that the guys out front just had consistently, and maybe helped save those tires.
Yeah, it's the awesome chess match that is motorsports. Oftentimes, it's not the fastest guy early who wins a race. It is about managing those tires and making sure it is there at the end. Davey, put that engineering hat on for me in terms of setting a car up for a place like Road America with these massive long straightaways and the speed that these guys carry around here. Do you trim these cars out to sacrifice a little bit in the few slower technical parts of the racetrack, knowing that having that horsepower and that speed and that aero down these straightaways is so very important?
Yeah, well, you already know. You already know what happens, right? I mean, you know that there's downforce to be taken and given, and exactly, you said it. These straightaways are so long, and with three of them, Nick, I mean, very seldom do you see three super long straightaways, that the best thing to do is you need to get down those straightaways quick, and that means trim these cars out more than likely, and then you give up some corner speed, but it's a lot easier to pass the guy on the straightaway than it is a corner. So my setup is just what you said. Trim it out, get around this place. Maybe not as good in some of the corners, but like I say, it's a lot easier to pass in the straightaways than it is the corners.
14 and a half minutes to go here in this qualifying session to set the grid for race number 2 for the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires. Full field rundown. Stingray Rob, the fastest so far at a minute 55.5, I should say. Kyle Kirkwood is second. Devlin DeFrancesco third. Benjamin Pedersen is fourth. Daniel Frost is fifth. 6th through 10 sees Toby Sowery, Alex Peroni, David Malukas, Linus Lundqvist, and Robert McGinnis. Antonio Serravalle is 11th quick right now. Nikita Lasherskin is 12th. And Christian Bogle is 13th. Let's go back to pit lane and check in once again with Joe Sebastianelli.
Yeah, so I've been standing on the front half of pit lane, and to add on to Davey's point, that's exactly what we've seen. Linus Lundqvist, for example, who's running in 9th, came in and, like everyone else, going on to a fresh set of Cooper tires, but also making a substantial adjustment to the front and rear wings to do what you talked about, Davey. The 59 of Nikita doing the same thing in the HMD Motorsports machine, and in front of him in the 24, Benjamin Pedersen adding to the front and rear wing as well. So they've realized now going through the first half of this session, downforce, wherever it's at in the first 15 minutes, again, you're only going to have really 1 or 2 good laps left. So find whatever you can here for the final 10 minutes once you get back out on track on a fresh set of Cooper tires.
Let's go a little bit further up pit lane to Rob Howden.
Yeah, standing by here with Kyle Kirkwood in the number 28 machine, the Dano's Tequila Road to Indy scholarship car. Of course, Kyle, the scholarship winner from the Indy Pro 2000 category in 2019, not able to use the scholarship last year with a hiatus. They're making an adjustment here as well. Kirkwood was the final driver to come into pit lane. Looks like they're going to do a little work on the front wing. I think they're going to trim the front wing out a little bit. So we've seen that, of course, with the HMD drivers. The same here now with Kyle Kirkwood, going to trim that front out. I did have a chance to have a look at a couple of cars as I was kind of walking up and down pit lane. Seems to me like the Andretti car is a little more trimmed out than those from Juncos Racing, maybe by one of the positioning holes in the rear wing. But otherwise, Kyle Kirkwood just asking maybe for a little less front grip, probably car maybe a little bit of oversteer going through the carousel.
The racetrack has gone silent for the moment, not because there are issues, but because, as Rob and Joel detailed, lots of cars making some adjustments here with 12 minutes to go in qualifying for the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires. And it's honestly quite rare for the track to go silent at Road America. Busy, busy day here on IndyCar Radio. IndyCar practice number 2 coming your way at 11:10 Eastern Time, 10:10 Central Time for those at Road America. Qualifying for the IndyCar Series, a familiar knockout-style 2:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Central. The Indy Light Series will be back on track later today at 3:55 Eastern, 2:55 local for race number 1, round 9 of that championship. And then here on the IndyCar Radio Network, we will end the day with IndyCar practice number 3. It's a half-hour session from 5:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Central later today. So busy day, lots of track activity. As Rob talked about, the entire Road to Indy is here this weekend as well. So, Davey, for the race fans that have made their way out to Road America, quite an opportunity to see a lot of great open-wheel racing and really just kind of soak in that campground atmosphere. I know the concessions there at Road America, something I always look forward to, and it's just an atmosphere that is unmatched just about anywhere in the country. So with 10 minutes, 56 seconds left, waiting to hear some cars go out on the racetrack. And, Rob, I can kind of hear on your intercom, it sounds like things are getting a little bit busy there at Road America.
Indeed, a couple of the drivers heading out. Nikita Rasmussen already pulling out, as well as, I believe, Benjamin Pedersen not out yet. Here comes Antonio Saravalli. He's rolling out. Just thought I'd take the opportunity as well. One of the things I'm interested to see here in this session is whether or not Daniel Frost can double up with qualifying. Obviously, the fastest driver in qualifying for race number 1. He'll be on pole later today. But in USF 2000 and Indy Pro, Nick, we had one driver in each series dominate the qualifying, and it was kind of a surprise to me. Kiko Portal, the quickest for D-Force Racing. That team's unbelievably good here right now in USF 2000. So Kiko Portal on the pole for both of those races. But Manuel Suleiman from Mexico for Juncos Racing qualified on pole for race 1 of Indy Pro. It didn't look like he was going to get it earlier today. We started things off with the Road to Indy with qualifying for Indy Pro for race 2, and there was a number of drivers who were up top. Braden Eves, Christian Rasmussen, Reese Gold, Artem Petrov at a time. Manuel Suleiman was back in about 8th position, but on that very final lap, he was able to drop one down and again got a pole position. Tremendous lap for Manuel. So literally, we've got guys that have locked out the pole position for USF 2000 and Kiko Portal. The same with Manuel Suleiman in Indy Pro. We'll see whether or not Daniel Frost can keep that trend going and lock out his second pole position here of the year.
Yeah, right now Daniel Frost sits 5th quick at a minute 56.188. Got the reports of a car might have just gone off the racetrack in turn number 7. That is car 7, Christian Bogle, who has had some issues. Bogle is 13th fastest shotgun on the field right now, but everyone is chasing that minute 55.58 for Stingray Robb, the driver from Idaho, and with 9 minutes to go, it is go time, as it looks like most of the field has made their way back onto the racetrack. And the beauty of it, Davey, and this will not be an issue, I would hope not, for the NTT IndyCar Series a little bit later today. 13 cars in Indy Lights. These guys aren't going to have any problems spreading themselves out to find some open track position with a massive 4-mile road.
Yeah, when you got a 4-mile racetrack, you have all kinds of room to get spread out. Now, let's hope they don't. Let's hope that all 13 of these cars, Nick, stay right on top of each other the entire time. Red flag just came out, and I'm not sure. It must be Bogle. Oh, yeah, it is. He is off the straightaway, kind of behind one of the billboard signs, the WeatherTech signs, it looks like. And, yeah, going to throw red. Now, this is interesting. The clock keeps ticking, right? So we'll see if they can get him off course and get going and get a green back out before the session's over.
So, yeah, we have finally spotted Christian Bogle on our multi-screen monitor. Of course, you need a lot of camera angles to cover this massive 4-turn road course, and Christian Bogle has. He is off to driver's left at the exit of turn number 7, pointed the wrong direction. The AMR IndyCar safety crew pulling up now. Doesn't look like he necessarily has hit anything. Doesn't look like there is any damage to that race car. But as Davey talked about, this now puts a massive crunch on qualifying here in terms of whether these drivers are going to get out in terms of turning laps here on whether it be a new set of Cooper tires or no matter how they managed it. It's going to be awful interesting. Everybody, Davey, I guess Rob Howden said there were 5 cars that stayed on pit lane, but all these drivers that went back out managing these tires if they put on a new set to come back to pit lane, because, boy, you really don't want to wear those things out on an out lap when now it's been wasted.
Yeah, boy, exactly. Now, what you can do, it doesn't really hurt them if you don't get up to speed and don't get a lot of help in them. We see Bogle now. So these cars are self-starting, and so something must have went bad to where he either got stuck in there or you just couldn't get it refired again, but they're getting them on track. But back to your question, Nick, is if you don't get a lot of heat in the tires, it's just kind of what we call just sizing them. You just kind of break them in, making sure that everything's good with them, and then get going again. Now they're getting him fired back up right now. I think he is fired, and yeah. Anyways, let's hope they go green. Let's put it that way. But it didn't really hurt their tires, and he is taking off right now. So hopefully we'll see the green coming out momentarily.
Yep, 6.5 minutes to go. So based on these lap times that are just under 2 minutes, if you get about a 2-minute out lap, you're probably looking at 2, at the most maybe 3 if you're hustling, but probably 2 laps on those Cooper tires. Rob, who were the 5 drivers? You mentioned there were a few that had not gone back out on the racetrack yet.
Yeah, David Malukas hadn't gone out yet. Benjamin Pedersen, Kyle Kirkwood, Devlin DiFrancesco, and Alex Peroni. Those are the drivers who still have complete sticker tires. They were sitting here waiting. And again, just quickly talk to Gavin Rose again from Cooper Tires, one of their engineers. We talked about the fact that this is a different compound, different construction for the high loads here. He just came over and told me this will be really interesting because these tires take longer to get up to the optimum temperature and the optimum grip because of the compound and because of the construction. With the time constraints happening here, this is going to be a lot tougher on the drivers. Whoever's able to get it to work is really going to have to optimize these tires.
Oh, yeah. So, Davey, I mean, the green flag has been thrown back in the air now with 5.5 minutes to go. How do you get some heat in those tires, but while also trying to hustle that car around the racetrack to make sure you maximize the amount of laps you can turn here in just 5.5 minutes?
Yeah, I think the best way to get heat in tires, a little secret, is if you can ride the brake on your out lap and get the brake heat to actually heat the wheel and the tire up, helps get the tires up to temp quickly. It's not always the best way to do it, but it always is a good little trick if you have to get the tires up to temp fairly quickly. But another thing, by the time you go around this 4-mile course and get back to the timeline off of turn 13, that you can usually get, or is it off 14? I think it's off 14 actually, almost a full lap. Just before 14, there you go, yeah. And you get a full lap in, and so that's going to get heat in the tires as well. So these guys, they'll have good opportunity to get a couple good solid laps in.
It was a mass scramble off of pit lane. Christian Bogle has brought that Carlin racing machine back to the attention of his crew. It looks like, barring some miraculous repair or finding something with that race car, he's probably going to start 13th on the field. The other 12, though, back on the racetrack and hustling. In fact, they're going side by side at the top of the hill at turn 6 as Stingray Robb and Antonio Saravalli are nose to tail. We get the report that Christian Bogle has hustled that car back onto the racetrack after a drive-through penalty. So it is go time for the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires. Just 4 minutes to go here in qualifying to set the grid for Sunday's race number 2, round 10 of this 20-round championship. Again, the lap to beat is currently held by Stingray Robb at a minute 55.586. Kyle Kirkwood is second. Devlin DiFrancesco is third. Benjamin Pedersen fourth. Daniel Frost, the pole sitter for race 1 this weekend, he sits in fifth. Toby Sowery is sixth. Alex Peroni seventh. David Malukas is eighth. His teammate Linus Lundqvist is ninth. Those two drivers 1 and 2 in the championship, so they certainly want to find some speed here in the last couple minutes. Antonio Saravalli is 11th. Nikita Lashiskin is 12th. Christian Bogle is 13th. And Davey, I see these drivers kind of roar back up the start-finish line. They've got 3 minutes to go in qualifying, so we're looking at 2 laps for these drivers to turn here at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, they get 2 solid laps. And one thing that you mentioned is the times at Stingray Robb, that 155.58, pretty quick. But I think the track's better today than it was yesterday. All the cars that have been on there, seems like these Cooper tires adapt to other tires, rubbering the track down. So the conditions are almost perfect. It's a little bit cool out, a little overcasty, not a lot of sun on the racetrack. So times, I wouldn't be surprised to see times go up quite a bit. Not a lot, but go up from yesterday a bit.
Yeah, very similar, as we mentioned. It was a 155 as well for Daniel Frost in setting that pole position. Very similar to the lap time that Stingray Robb set. So we'll see if anybody can find any speed here at the end of qualifying. Down in turn 5, we see Alex Peroni accelerating. He's trying to chase down Benjamin Pedersen. Back up the hill underneath that Corvette bridge comes Antonio Saravalli. Daniel Frost's car, it wiggles a little bit at the exit of turn number 5 as he chases it up the hill. Everybody about the midway point of their first flying lap. We'll start to see lap times come in here momentarily, as it looks like the majority of the field, in fact, the entire field, is out on the racetrack here in qualifying for the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires. And Rob Howden, these drivers, going to try to get some heat into those Cooper tires and maximize whatever they can here in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, guys, one other just a really quick point compared to when you're comparing qualifying to yesterday. Everything that we did in the road to Indy yesterday was pre-IndyCar practice. No rubber on the racetrack at all from IndyCar. This is actually the first session for Indy Lights, having been on the racetrack with that IndyCar rubber that we laid down yesterday.
All right, flying laps starting to come in. David Malukas has now gone P1 at a minute 55.372. Kyle Kirkwood across the timing line. He'll go to second. That bumps Stingray Robb down to third. Alex Perrone has gone to the fifth spot as the majority of the back half of the field making their way out of Canada corner back up the hill to start their first of what, again, will be 2 flying laps here in qualifying. Malukas has gone first. Kirkwood has gone second. Still waiting to see if Linus Lundqvist can improve. This would be a big hit in terms of his championship hopes if he can't find any more speed. But Davey, here in the last couple minutes with a minute to go, those championship contenders, as we expected, starting to rise to the top of timing and scoring.
Yeah, there you go. They're the guys that we expect to be on the top are on the top. Although they didn't get there yesterday, they are today, and they have one more opportunity. Matter of fact, I see Frost, knowing that he's P7 right now, knowing that he'd like to be back up there, 156.1. We know he has more speed in him. We'll see what he can pull off on this last lap.
Malukas, Kirkwood, Robb, DeFrancesco, Perrone, the top 5. Pedersen, Frost, Sowry, Lundqvist, McGuinness, the top 10. Saravalli's 11th. Nikita Lashuskin is 12th. Christian Bogle is 13th. Here in Indy Lights, qualifying to set the grid for race number 2, we see Alex Perrone hustling that car through the carousel. He is following Benjamin Pedersen in that Dirtfish orange and black car for HMD and the Global Racing Group collaboration effort. Final lap starting to come in. It's Malukas, Kirkwood, Robb, DeFrancesco, and Perrone down into the Canada corner. Lundqvist, he'll pop to P1. Won't get to keep it for very long. He goes sub 155 at a minute 54.7, but he gets bumped down to 4th already as Malukas has gone P1. Kyle Kirkwood has gone to 2nd. Robert McGuinness has gone to 3rd. A lot of change in timing and scoring. Davey, they have found some speed here at the end of qualifying, but everyone trying to knock off Malukas' quick time
Frost.
of a minute 54.39, and Daniel Frost has done it. A minute 54.304 for car 68. The driver from the Singapore, Daniel Frost, has gone P1, and a lot of the heavy hitters, Davey, look like they've already crossed the start-finish line and have head to pit lane.
Yeah, so one guy that didn't want this red flag to get sucked in and the green to go again is Stingray Robb. He was on the pole, could have had potential to be on the pole, but these last 2 minutes has him pushed down to 10th place right now. That tells you that, man, they really laid it down. He didn't have a great lap on that last green flag run, but Frost, Malukas, Kirkwood, top 3, no surprise.
Yeah, pretty amazing at here in the final couple minutes of qualifying. As you mentioned, everybody finds speed, and it looks like every single car has now crossed the timing line, head to pit lane, and Daniel Frost has done it. Rob Howden talked about the lockout qualifying efforts so far in the road to Indy. How many drivers have backed up their pole speed? And boy, Daniel Frost, his impressive weekend continues as he grabs now his 2nd pole position in his Indy Lights career with a quick time of a minute 54.304. That narrowly clips David Malukas, who ran a minute 54.399. Kyle Kirkwood was 4/10, actually making a solid 3/10 behind in 3rd. Then it's Devlin DeFrancesco, Robert McGuinness, Alex Perrone qualifies 6th. Linus Lundqvist, who comes in as the points leader, struggles a bit. He'll start 7th later on Sunday for race number 2. Then it's Toby Sowry in 8th. Benjamin Pedersen qualifies in the 9th position. As we talked about, Stingray Robb gets bumped down to 10th. Nikita Lashuskin ends up 11th. Antonio Saravalli is 12th, and Christian Bogle is 13th. And Davey, it's pretty apparent that Daniel Frost has taken a nice liking to this Road America course, because this is an impressive weekend for that young man, now sweeping pole positions.
Yeah, really good run by him for sure. Good run for Perrone in that sixth spot as well. Carlin Racing, they'd like to see them in victory circle as well. So good start for him.
Let's hear from our pole sitter. He is standing by on pit lane with Rob Howden.
Yeah, I've got Daniel Frost here, the DenChet machine for Andretti Autosport. Daniel, you like this racetrack. I know that. You were able to win here last year from dead last, came through and got the victory. 2 pole positions, though. Just give me a little run-through of that last lap because you had to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, for the first run, we were stuck in traffic. Second run, we were also stuck in traffic. The whole time we were looking for a gap, and we managed to find it at the very end. Just in the nick of time, we managed to put in a good lap, I think. I think it was a solid lap from the team. I think this is the fastest we've done. And I think we put on a good show, I think, against the other guys, and now we just have to focus onto the race.
You know, Road America is always that midway through the season kind of race. You know, the rookie drivers like yourself get better and better. You get more comfortable throughout the year. Are you feeling like that? Do you feel like you're just coming on and ready for that breakout weekend?
Yeah, I feel like we're putting everything together. We had bits and pieces everywhere, and now we're finally solving the puzzle. And I think it's starting to gain a momentum for us, and I'm really proud of what we've achieved so far, and thank you to the team again for that opportunity.
What is it about this racetrack? You like Road America?
Man, I have no idea what I really like about this racetrack. Maybe it's that carousel we were talking about earlier today, but I don't know. It's a track that I seem very comfortable with, and we seem very fast. So we're always fast here, and I hope that we can get a good result later today.
Well done.
Thank you.
Daniel Frost, Nick, will be on the pole position, both races here this weekend.
All right, Joel Sebastianelli, who have you caught up with down on pit lane?
David Malukas will start second. It seemed like you guys had to throw everything at it. I was noticing all of the adjustments there. What were you able to find in order to start second there in that final stint?
Yeah, I mean, so going on to the first run, you know, the car wasn't perfect, and it was dropping tires left and right, but, I mean, we did a lot of testing here. We knew exactly what we needed with the car. Yancey's like, all right, well, I know, we'll this lap, 1-2 clap, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, it sounds like we know it. And then it was the red flag, so we bumped the tire pressures up, you know, make sure that we can hit it on these last few laps that we had. And I made one mistake in 6. I came over the crest and it lost the car a little bit, and I think that's kind of what costed us there. But I'm still really happy with the P2. I mean, I was coming into the box and everybody was celebrating, and they're like, oh no, Frost actually got us. So, but I mean, no, I'm really happy. P2 for both these days. I mean, it's been really tight. I mean, you'd go from 8th to 2nd in like an instant. I mean, even there. So, no, I'm really happy.
For both races, how important is the start going to be in order to celebrate in victory lane?
The start is everything here. I mean, it's you have so much time to make a move because of all these straights. I mean, you have until turn 5. So I don't know. It's going to be really important to get a good outside start, try to react with Frost, and hopefully we don't get done from the behind with some tow. But yeah, no, it's going to be tough.
David Malukas starting second. Good luck.
Thank you.
No doubt about it. It is a fast run down to that right-hander of turn 1, and Daniel Frost, David Malukas going to have the best seat in the house as they will start on the front row for race number 2 on Sunday. A great weekend so far for Daniel Frost, and we'll see if he can score his first career Indy Lights win, backing up that speed a little bit later today. The Indy Lights Series in action later at 3:55 Eastern, 2:55 Central Time. Next up on IndyCar Radio, 11:10 Eastern Time, 10:10 Central Time for NTT IndyCar Series practice number 2. That'll do it for us from now, at least, from Road America. Congratulations to Daniel Frost on his pole position. For Rob Howden, Joel Sebastianelli, and Davey Hamilton, I'm Nick Yeoman. We'll talk to you a little bit later here at Road America.